All right, let's dive into one of the biggest and, let's be honest, trickiest questions you'll ever get in your career. How do you actually talk about your dream job?
You know the moment. Someone asks you this and your mind just goes blank. It feels like a surprise test you're never totally ready for. But nailing this answer? It's an amazing way to show people exactly who you are and where you're headed.
Because here's the secret. A great answer isn't just about spitting out a job title. Nope, it's a story. It's the story of your past, what you care about right now, and what you're aiming for in the future, all wrapped up in one.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get into why this question is so important. Then, we'll look at a few real-world examples, build up our word bank, and finally, pull it all together so you can build your own story from scratch.
Okay, so why is this such a big deal anyway? Well, when someone asks about your dream job, they're not just curious, they're digging deeper. They want to know what drives you, what your values are, and if your goals actually line up with what they have to offer. It's your moment to really connect with them.
To see what I mean, let's start with our first case study. Meet Mubarak. His story is a perfect example of how your background and your education can shape a really clear, really specific dream job.
So here's a quick look at Mubarak. He's from the UAE, got his master's in mechanical engineering over in the UK, and for him, a big driver is the prestige that comes with a British degree. And his dream job? Super specific, a mechanical engineer in the UAE Army. He values that for the security, the cool work, and yep, that high prestige.
And when you look at his journey, it all clicks into place. He was always into math and logic, so he picked engineering because it felt more hands-on. But it wasn't a cakewalk. The language barrier in the UK was tough, and he actually failed his first-year exams. He had to retake them, but he stuck with it, and that tells you a ton about his determination. His goal is a direct result of that whole experience.
You hear that word that keeps coming up with Mubarak, prestige. That's a core value for him. It's a huge motivator. And figuring out your own core values, whether it's prestige or freedom or making a difference, that's ground zero for finding a dream job that actually makes you happy.
But hey, not everyone is driven by prestige, right? So for a totally different take, let's meet Julia and Peter. They have two completely different mindsets about work, and both are totally valid. It just goes to show there's no single right way to build a career.
You can just feel the difference here. On one side, you've got Julia. For her, it's all about job satisfaction. She's her own boss because she can't stand the thought of a boring, monotonous office job. Then you've got Peter. He's very career-minded, sees himself as the family breadwinner, and is a self-described workaholic who puts in the overtime to make a good living.
The words Julia uses really tell her story, don't they? Self-employed and own boss scream independence. Job satisfaction is the goal, while office job and monotony, well, those are the enemies.
And that fear of being made redundant, that's a huge driver for Julia. It's not just about losing a paycheck for her, it's about losing control. And that's exactly why being her own boss is so crucial to her sense of security.
Okay, now let's flip over to Peter's vocabulary. His words are all about responsibility and stability. You see things like breadwinner, wage, and overtime, and it's clear his career choices are tied directly to his family role.
For Peter, this idea of being the breadwinner isn't just a label. It's a huge part of his identity. It shapes his whole perspective and explains why he's so driven and willing to be a workaholic. For him, the work has purpose because it provides for the people he loves.
So, this brings it all back to you, doesn't it? Are you more of a Julia, chasing that personal satisfaction and freedom? Or are you more like Peter, focused on security and responsibility? There's no wrong answer, but knowing where you stand is everything.
So what we've seen with all three of them, Mubarak, Julia, and Peter, is they have the right words to describe what matters. You can't tell your story if you don't have the vocabulary. Building that up is absolutely essential if you want to talk about your goals clearly.
I love this piece of advice. Seriously, this is a game changer. If you know how to talk about your current job, your dream job, and even the jobs you'd hate, you're ready for pretty much any career conversation that comes your way.
Just think about some of these terms. Are you aiming for a promotion? Or maybe you need to describe your responsibilities. A huge part of many jobs is dealing with customers. Having these precise words in your back pocket just makes your whole story sound so much more professional and put together.
Okay, so now it's time to put it all together. We're going to walk through a really simple 3-step framework you can use to build your own totally authentic dream job story. It really is this straightforward. Step 1, start with your past. What are you good at? What have you been through? Think of Mubarak's love for logic. Step 2, think about your values right now. What's non-negotiable for you, like Julia's need for satisfaction or Peter's need for a stable wage? And finally, step 3, connect it all to your future. Show how that dream job is the perfect next step that pulls everything together.
And that's the whole point. A really powerful answer isn't just wishful thinking. It's a solid, well-told story that connects the dots from where you've been to where you're determined to go.
So when you look at it like that, your dream job story stops being a scary question and starts being your personal roadmap. It's the map you draw for your own future. So the only question left is, where's your map going to take you?